I am a 19-year-old student. Although I'm Asian, I have Spanish blood, so I really don't look like the usual Asians around here. And this is a bit long, I think. So I'm in my third year in college, and I just broke up with my boyfriend of 3 years and started dating again. I dated one guy from my lit class, but we didn't work out, so I was single once again. One random Saturday afternoon around August, a guy named Chris added me up on Facebook. I saw he was studying the same program in our uni, so I accepted him. He started to like my photos and statuses at first, so it wasn't creepy. It was unusual for him to like my photos from way back in 2011, but I didn't give it a second thought. He was around 5'11", had a big build, and was an athlete. He was a college freshman, but we were the same age and he started chatting me. It started as a friendly conversation. Then, that's when I noticed that instead of asking my number, he sent me a copy of my number, and then he asked, "This is your number, right?" Weirded out, I asked him where he got my number because I never gave out my number even to my classmates, since I was a lazy texter anyways. But all he replied was, "Winking smiley." Monday came and he started texting me. I didn't reply to most of his messages. He slowly got mad at me, until he flooded my inbox from 10 messages up to 300 messages and 80 missed calls. He also told me that ever since classes started, he was already spying on me when we had dance rehearsals for our program and school events. He also admitted he used to follow me until I got a ride home. He probably thought that was cute, but that immediately creeped me out. Then he asked me out. I refused immediately because I was still not emotionally ready to be in a relationship, and I was already creeped out by him. But I turned him down politely and told him he deserved someone better. But he was insistent and told me, "I don't care. I'm going to wait for you. I'll never stop until I make you mine." Then, that's when I started noticing him anywhere I go near the university. He was like this annoying shadow. He would be at the cafeteria, outside my classrooms, and he even knew my best friend's Facebook, and we don't even study at the same uni. He also added up all of my ex-boyfriends, although I only maintained communication with just one. He also tried to be friendly with my blockmates, but my blockmates noticed I was very uncomfortable, so they didn't communicate with him too, which made him mad, and he would send messages to me and complain, although I never replied. The final straw was when I was joking to my close friend as we were going out of the restroom, and I said, "What I wouldn't give for a bottle of Sprite." And when we got back to the room, my blockmate handed me a bottle of Sprite. "That's from Chris," he said, confused. Then I received a message asking me, "So, what would you give me? I gave you Sprite." I immediately threw the bottle away from me. I was starting to freak out, so I tried to confront him via text because I really don't want to talk to him in person, but he kept on calling me "my girl" and "my penguin drummer," which really pissed me off. I told him to stop calling me his because I don't like him, and the only thing he replied was, "I'm going to wait for you outside your classroom so we can go home together, and I won't take no for an answer." Afraid and nervous, I asked my blockmates for help because I really didn't know the guy, and they told me I should block his number and Facebook, which I did immediately. Then, I asked the last guy I dated, James, to come pick me up from my room, even just for the day, because I was already scared. Thank God he immediately agreed. The next day, I was so afraid to go out of my room. My blockmates were nice enough to buy me lunch and check if the guy was there. The last class ended, and my friend told me the guy was already waiting. James was looking at him menacingly. When James called my name, I immediately ran towards him, and he wrapped one arm around me, protectively. I didn't look at Chris, and I was about to cry. But thankfully, James walked me out of the uni until I could get a ride home. My phone suddenly was filled with blocked calls and messages that night, and although I tried to ignore and delete them immediately, I saw a few blocked messages from Chris asking me why I lied to him, why I broke his trust. What the fuck? Then the worst day came. It was a Friday night around 2 weeks ago, and it was really raining hard. It was around 7:30 p.m. and we just finished doing a project for our major subject. And as I walked out of our uni, I realized I don't have anyone to be with me when I go home, since most of my friends lived at the other side of town. So I just put on a brave face and walked out of the uni alone. Then I heard someone whistle at me, right beside the gate. And I saw it was Chris. I tried to ignore him because it was at least a 5-minute walk before I could get a ride home, but I could feel him following me. I couldn't run because I was wearing heels and it was raining hard. I could hear him calling me, "My penguin drummer, I want to talk. Please, come here. Please, I miss you so much. I miss the way we talk." I was so tempted to run, but I knew I wouldn't be able to outrun him as he was stronger and faster, and I couldn't ask for help because there were no cars passing at the time. I heard him coming nearer. Suddenly, I saw 2 of James's friends running towards me with an umbrella. Gosh, I sobbed right into their arms as they asked me if Chris has done anything or hurt me. Then I heard screaming, and I looked back and saw James and his friends screaming at Chris as he screamed back. James was about to throw a punch at Chris, but was being pulled back by his friend. James was telling him off and to stay the fuck away from my girl. And Chris answered, "No, she's not yours anymore. She's my penguin drummer." "She was never yours to begin with, and if you try to get near her again, I will fucking end you." Chris seemed to get scared, which was unexpected, as James was thinner and was not even an active person. But he backed down and walked away. The rest of the boys calmed me down before making sure I got home safely. I learned that before James went out of the campus, he noticed that all the friends I'm with live on the opposite side of town, and I was alone when I go home, and he felt something was not right. So he decided to smoke with his friends in the 7-Eleven near our uni and wait for me to get out. The next morning, I managed to talk to my professors about Chris, and they told me they're going to talk to him, and if he does anything stupid or threatening, he's going straight to the dean's office. But since I deleted most of the threatening messages and creepy confessions, they couldn't really punish Chris unless he does something big again. The weeks after, I still see him in the hallways or when there are school activities involving all students from our university, but he doesn't do anything anymore. I already changed my numbers and made sure he won't be able to receive any information about me. James and I are still friends, and he makes sure Chris steers clear of our way. So Chris, get the fuck away from me. You ruined the first half of my school year. Thanks for listening, and remember, the most unsettling stories are lost in the ghost towns of our psyche.